Yo, what up? Got a special treat for you guys today. It's about 9:30 in the morning, Saturday. Just got done with a little hoop sesh, but I'm on my way to my boy Kelly's house, who just messaged me back. And we were at the tackle shop last night, man. He's what you call an OG. He's a vet of the game here. Part of that like real first generation of hardcore tournament guys in the 90s. And got to do and see a lot of cool stuff. And you know, when in the middle of him telling me these gnarly stories, I was like, bro, you gotta stop, because I didn't bring my camera. I gotta share this stuff with you guys. So I'm on my way to his house now. We're gonna just chat it up, man. He's just gonna go old school on us and tell us some stories. So stay tuned.
You don't realize what's going around the whole big picture, you know. And truly now, as I've got older, I like, wow.
All right, man. I want to introduce you guys because he's already going. We're trying to have breakfast, and my man is already spewing the wisdom. Introduce yourself, brother.
Kelly Puppo.
Man, you guys. I wish you guys are sitting in here having breakfast with us right now, because like looking at some old school West Coast bass news. Like, I don't know if you guys recognize who that young man is in that picture, but you know, some real history here. I mean, down to his first rod and reel. The Bass Stroker. And that's a Saber.
Yeah, Saber rod.
Kidding.
Actually, that was rod number 2.
Wow. Tell me about this.
That was rod number 2. Yeah, this was rod number 2, 1972. Yeah, I got introduced to this at Fred Hall show. And this was the starting and the beginning of me and my addiction for the hunt of bass.
And you're a West Coast fisherman through and
West
through.
West Coast through my veins, and it's been that way forever, and it will be. This outfit here is just memories, you know. But then the evolution from fiberglass to graphites and so on, it's just evolved into a whole nother arena and experience. And I'll tell you what, I've enjoyed the ride, and I just really appreciate the moments and the times that I've had when I was able to capture them, and appreciate the fishing in Southern California that we had, the luxury that we had, that we never thought that we'd lose a lot of it, unfortunately. But I have it, you know, it's all documented here, and I have the memories and
here now,
and photos, you know, some photos to back it up. But yeah, I'm with Oliver right now, and it's a pleasure that he's come into my home, and we're just going to chat and go back and have some flashbacks and enjoy the moment.
We're just going to talk some fishing.
Yeah, we're going to talk some fishing, definitely. But this outfit here is a true classic. It's like an egg beater. You know, what we had back then was minimal bearings and just really solid equipment, but just not a lot of finesse. But it was kind of meat and potatoes back then, and heavy line. You know, we had strand fishing line back in the day. It was very thick and very stiff.
How long are these rods in that era?
Typically, we were using 5 to 5.5 foot.
Really?
Occasionally a 6 foot, but typically anything was 5.5 foot. And that's what we use. And then we look back now and just say, gosh, we did all that with those little sticks. I mean, you know, a broom is longer than some of these.
No, absolutely. It's cool to see, man.
Yeah.
That's sick. What rod is this one?
That's
Fenwick.
the Fenwick. That's the Fenwick rod there.
See, I can relate to that because one of my mentors growing up gave me this Fenwick iron feather when I was a kid. And at the time, that was a $200 rod. You know, so I was just a young 11, 12-year-old kid with a $200 Fenwick rod.
Wow.
I want to say it was an iron feather. Yeah, but it was sweet. So I've always been a fan of those.
Yeah, Fenwick's made a good product. They were on the leading edge back in the day, way ahead of their time. They really were. They had some great pro staffs, some great people back in the day. You know, D. Thomas helped out over there. Dick Gomer came into play over there as well, and Dick did a lot for the company. In fact, Dick Gomer just passed away, I believe, 2 years ago. And I'll tell you what, this side of Texas, there was nobody else that could spoonfish as good as Dick Gomer. He taught me how to spoonfish back in the mid-'70s, late 70s, and I'll tell you what, he can catch them in 0 feet of water to 100 and 0. I mean, that guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, the guys that are deadly with the spoon are amazing.
The spoon can be deadly and very versatile. I learned that, and I've had 100 fish days here, local fishing spoons. You know, I mean, just it would be like commercial fishing.
Wow.
You know, but it's all about managing the fishery too, and learning how to release those fish, those deep water fish too. But it's interesting though, and I appreciate my time that I was exposed to some of these true pioneers in the fishing business. Really, it was definitely good times for me to be coming up and learning and growing up in Southern California, enjoying the fine lakes that we had. High protein diets that we had for these fish that were eating all the trout all these years. Little did we know what we were creating.
Because you were focused on the tournament side of things out here,
tournament fishing, yeah. I got caught up into the tournament thing. Jumped into that, and the tournament end of it turned out to be just a lot of competition. And as far as the big bait, that was just a one-shot type deal, and you couldn't really put all your eggs in one basket in that. So
still the same
I stayed
scenario.
away, but I stayed away from it for quite a few years, and I regret it at times. I look back now, the windows of opportunity that I could have capitalized, and now that I've seen, you know, like Byron Velvick was one of the first guys doing it out in the tournament scene way back, and he won a few boats doing that. You know, it was that one bite in 2 days that would take you from 10th place, 20th place, and put you right up number 1, and come
0
home,
to hero,
and come home with a boat.
Yeah,
and I seen that, and you know, little by little, I evolved into it. And Mark Higashi from Performance Tackle was the one who helped me catch my first swim bait fish on Piru.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was back around 1999.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. 7-pound fish. It was awesome. It was really, truly a way to finish the day off. And from there on, you know, the big bait was just like my eyes. I went 360. You know, I went from 180 to 360 with the big bait. And I've had some explosive, tremendous days. I missed the big days when the heydays, when the opportunities to catch those 40, 50-pound limits that we had here. On the big bait, but I did have my fun. You know, I had my 30, 35-pound limits, but you know, had the potential sometimes to catch that 40, 50-pound bag. And you know, you can't always catch them. You can see them, but you can't always catch them. But you know when they're bringing those babies to the boat, you can see, you know, they're double digits. You know, when you bring multiples of those during the day, you catch a few. That's great, but you know, to catch 5, that's a challenge. You know, typically 1, 2 fish, sometimes 3 if you're very fortunate. But it's that window of opportunity. Me as a working fisherman, and I've been a working guy my whole life, it's been hard to manage all that. But I took the time and worked it in my life a little bit, and had some fun. And now we're coming off of a drought. And hopefully, I believe the next couple years are going to be tremendous.
Yeah, lakes are full again.
A lot of guys don't realize this is another perfect storm brewing.
Did you seen the cycle happen a few times now, right?
I've been through some cycles that were unbelievable, ups and downs, and everybody gets stressed out about the drought. Yeah, it's tough on everybody, but I'll tell you what, the reward at the end of it could be tremendous, and being patient and knowing when to go and attack these lakes. And it's all about timing.
Yeah.
You know, you got to realize you got to change, and geographically you got to move your base around if you want to follow where the big fish are at and follow what's happening. You know, staying on the local lakes, it's tough. We got a lot of people out there. We have you know, a whole different breed of fishermen, technology. I mean, everybody's got the best of the best now. Back in my days, we had a lot of learning curve to go through. Many years of learning curve, and back then, a lot of people didn't want to show you certain things, you know.
They still don't.
You had to, it hasn't changed much. No, it really hasn't. But the fact is that you get what you put into.
Yep.
You know, and you got to do your homework. You can't run on somebody's coattail. You can't try to do that. You got to go out there, and the feeling, the reward is to do it yourself.
That's
you know,
it.
When all the boats go this way, I go that way. You know, I don't follow the herds. I don't try to all that dock talk and everything. I try to find my own fish and do my own thing. And
it's paid off.
It's a good payoff, and it's a good learning experience too.
It's more satisfying, isn't it?
It is satisfying to find the subtleties in fishing, and at the end of the day, you find enough of those little subtle things that you do beyond what these other guys are doing.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference. And
It truly
I
does.
always try to keep a low profile and try to fly under the radar. And I really, enjoy earning, that limit, that whatever you do during the day, I earn that, I think, and that's great. Yeah, there's days you go home kicking yourself all the way home. You don't even have to drive. You can just kick yourself in the butt all the way home. I've had plenty of those, but you have to realize, though, fish bite when they want to.
Yep.
And you can't force feed them.
Sweet, brother. Well, I'm excited to get into some in-depth conversations with you, man. We got all kinds of stuff I want to talk about. So let's take a little breakfast break first. What do we got for breakfast, by the way?
We're gonna have some sausage. We're gonna have some potatoes.
Okay.
Some potatoes, some homemade beans. I got some homemade chili.
Oh.
Yeah, I got some homemade chili over here. I got fresh, nice French vanilla coffee for you here.
My man.
And you're gonna have this right now.
I appreciate it.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Those are Norton's, by the way, on the left side.
The man cave. First time I've had the pleasure of cruising through this man's home. Look at this. This is sick. This man's seen some things, boys. Done some work. Look at this freaking thing. That's so sick. That looks like an old school skin mount right there from '87. Jeez. Back in the day, that was the thing to do. Guys would keep their trophies and actually mount the actual fish. It was a different time, different era. You can totally tell the difference between an actual skin mount, which this is, and the fiberglass replicas. Sick as that. Look at all these rods. Hey! How you doing, homie? And Kelly's through and through tournament fisherman, man, but check that out. Big baits, thick lines, heavy weights. Man's a stud. I'm telling you guys, gotta appreciate the dudes that came before us. These guys put in the dirt and the work to make the fishing game what it is. So sick. Look at that. That's my dude. Bro, you guys see that big one on the wall? How big was that fish, my man?
Well, according to Bob over at Bob's Taxidermy, he estimated a good solid 15 and a half. But we don't know what was in the belly. But just between dimensions on the fish and how it was calculated out, every bit of 15 plus, possibly 16, and we'll never really truly know. But yeah, it was an epic catch.
Is that your personal
that's
best?
That's PB, yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Hey, conventional tackle, spinnerbait.
No kidding.
Yeah, 15-pound line. Timing. You know, it was a great window opportunity. That day had 7, 4s, 5s, 3s. It was an epic day.
You're on
over 100 fish day actually.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was awesome day. And I had my buddy Ray Cruz with me, and he had his personal best, and he got stuck a 7. And it was really good. In fact, I went back the next day and couldn't catch fish at all, hardly. Yeah, it was.
So it really was a timing deal.
Timing, everything. It just like I was on a different lake, and everything changed.
Wow.
You know? That's how it goes. You know, I've had that quite frequently. You know?
What lake was that?
Well, that was.
I think your bite's safe.
I was Lake Piru back in the day.
No kidding.
Lake Piru, yeah, I cut my teeth on Lake Piru besides Cast Lake.
I still love that lake, man.
I prepped and did all my pre-tournament stuff there to groom myself and prep myself.
Okay.
You can do everything.
You can.
There. And it really conditioned me and prepped me to really go out there and excel. And, you know.
For you kids at home, that's an actual house phone. That's how people used to communicate back in the day. People would call you on the telephone.
Exactly, but that's linked up through my security system. That's why I have the landline. And I'm bothered by the telemarketers that harass me on a daily basis.
I mean, that's just a sign of the times, though, right? Like, I'm telling you, like, you used to actually have to memorize people's phone numbers and give them a call at the house.
Well, now you're going to take it back to the green box for Lawrence.
Oh, jeez.
Flashers and, checking depths with lead and line.
I still do that when my grabs don't work. I'm telling you.
It's crazy. But I got food cooking over here.
Okay, all
so
right.
We're going to grub down and I'm going to get this going here.
Sounds good. We'll get back to that big fish story in a moment. Oh, yeah. But man, what's in that box right there, bro? It's like hidden treasure after hidden treasure in this garage.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna go way back too on this too, definitely. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm gonna let the cat out now. I just found something in here I didn't even know I had in here. Wow, we talked about this.
Yep, there's the old SR5 Shad Wrap.
Oh my gosh.
Customized by Kelly himself.
Oh,
I can see it.
Dude, this is going back 30 years. That's 30 years right there.
Dang. I mean, I see mods in the paint scheme. I see a mod on the feather hook that you tied. I see mods with the weighted, belly hook there to get that bait down. Like, it's cool to see what went into a production bait to get it to do what you envision it doing down there in the water to fool these big fish.
Yeah, this was my go-to. I mean, nobody had suspending baits. This was before the lead dots that we had to put on the bait. And this actually, oh my gosh, I could come behind most guys and catch them. At a given time, and especially if there was the shad spawn, pre-spawn, post-spawn, didn't matter. During the summer, the wind comes up and it's blowing a little bit, throw it, break it out. This with 8-pound line on a spinning rod, deadly.
That's something I've kind of embraced the last couple of years, is fishing the finesse hard baits on a spinning setup.
Yeah, that's before.
So that's a stock bait. Just a classic black silver.
Yeah, I completely forgot I even had these. Gosh, I'm glad I do.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's good.
What's in the green box, man?
Oh my gosh.
It's been in there for a while, huh?
Wow. Yeah, this is before the big bait guys that really went crazy. This is like, wow. Look at this.
Dang.
Yeah, look at this.
Doesn't even look like you've ever fished this one.
This is brand new. No, this one I put away. I knew it was so special. Oh my gosh. This is Clear Lake. I remember Clear Lake. In fact, we took this one, but took the smaller one on Clear Lake and weighted it down and sight fished with this.
Yeah. I remember the guys did that. Because honestly, that as a, I was probably an 11 or 12-year-old kid when I first saw this in a tackle shop. And I was like, man, that bait is huge. All right, perspective back then.
Because, we thought,
because I was fishing that SR5 back then.
Yeah, but this to me, this was like gigantic. It's like, that's just way too big. You're not going to eat that. No. But when you're talking Clear Lake in the Delta, man, I remember.
Were those guys up there fishing this stuff that was coming from SoCal?
Some guys were.
Were they?
A lot of it took a while. It took a while for it to take over. There's only a handful of guys that were in the know that were doing it, and then you'd hear little by little it would leak out, little by little. Yeah.
So give me the background on this, man. Like, where did you find this? Where did you buy it? Who makes it? What did it sell for?
Castake. This is Castake Soft Bait Company.
And this is their original Castake company.
In fact, there's a price.
With all the guys.
Look at the price on there.
And that was a lot of money for a bait back then.
This was like early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a lot of money for a fishing
Yeah,
rod.
I want to say early 90s this was happening. Yeah, that was something, definitely. Yeah, and like I say, gosh, buy them in Southern California and then take them up to Clear Lake. Yeah, that was cool.
Wow, that's memory lane.
Definitely.
That's cool to see.
And then,
tell me about these little guys here. I know what those are.
Optimum? These are the old Optimums. I mean, gosh. These old Optimums. Just unbelievable. Just a mini swim bait.
Mm-hmm.
And, they had the bigger ones, and then they came down to this 2-inch version. I believe 2.5-inch version here. Yeah. These were just stuff that you could just take and throw year. I mean, it didn't matter when and where. These caught fish in the water column from top to bottom. Really, really good when the shad were out. Schooling fish. Oh, those were awesome. Stripers,
Yeah.
Didn't matter. They all worked. They worked great.
So sick. What else we got in this
Gosh, I have
box?
even in the package. Look at this. Look at this.
Is that the bait for you back then?
That was, in fact, Pulsator Nickel spinnerbaits were my sponsor as well too.
Okay.
And I threw this exclusively, their baits. Did a lot of damage on that too. Yeah, that was my go-to. The gold blades, tandem gold blade willows were my bread and butter. I don't care if it was clear water, stain water.
Really?
Clear skies, sunny. I threw this. I slow rolled this and just caught some big bags, big bags in the day.
So that was a big fish bait for you too.
This is big bags on this here, big money.
Is
big
that
bags.
one hanging in the wall in the man cave a victim of that?
Here it is.
Let's go walk over there. I want you to tell us the story, man.
Wow.
Do you have the color that you caught it on in that box?
Actually, the bait's hanging off.
No way. All right.
Off the jaw of it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Take us back, man. What year is this? This is LA area lake, right?
You're gonna get me on the years now.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. Oh gosh. So I want to say around 1999.
Okay.
Approximately around 1999. I'm gonna pull this bait off. Yeah, that was 1999. That was Lake Piru.
Wow. See, some guys would see this and be like, BS, Piru. Because, I'm looking at the dimensions of this fish, and I'm going to guess 26, 27 inches long, 22 to 24 inches around. Close am I?
We're at 24 and a half on the girth.
Really? On the girth?
Yeah, we're 24 and a half. We're 24 and a half on the girth, and the length came out to be 25 and 1/2.
And what did it weigh?
It was Well, as far as Robert's fish mount, Bob over there, he
Who's seen more giant bass than pretty much anybody on the
right,
West Coast,
and I took
right?
extensive measurements with a cloth tape and double checked it, and even took monofilament and cut it to the
Okay,
actual
yep, I've done
lengths.
that.
So I had the length, and I also had the measurements off the monofilament that we took and cut to get it, so everything was 100%, and we can double check it. And did the math, and Roberts estimated it a solid 15 and a half, 16, because even more depends on what was in the belly. And nobody knows what's
See, that's something that people don't take into account.
We don't know what's inside, but we can go by measurements, but still you can kill yourself by a pound to 2 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, depends. But that fish was a solid fish. 15-pound Berkeley Charlie, big game.
Okay.
Spinnerbait. It was just an epic day.
That's a product plug 18 years later for you guys paying attention.
Yeah. So we hit it just right. We hit the lake just right. It was closed for a couple months.
Oh, okay.
The road was washed out, and
so there've been heavy rains. Water's probably pretty high.
And water was up, and we had a light drizzle pre-spawn, and went out there. We were the only boat.
Nice.
We were the only boat. Pretty much had it to ourselves. And
what portion of the lake were you fishing? South, north?
That day I fished about 70% of the lake.
Wow, so you're moving.
I hammered that lake hard, hit it hard. Didn't go up river. No, didn't go up north.
Because it's a big lake when it's full.
Yeah, didn't go up north. I ventured and I hit pre-spawn. I wish I would have went up river as well too, but just didn't have the time. But I still fished some key areas and fished some openings in big areas where pre-spawn fish would be, and key spots where I knew where I can catch them, knowing the history and background too. So we covered the water. I had my buddy, co-worker, Ray Cruz with me. He stuck a 7. I mean, I literally rigged him and had him what to throw. When we between rattle and baits, we threw rattle baits and threw spinner baits and just alternated. He had a 7. We had big bag that day. We had 5s, 7s. We had a 7. He had a big fish with a 7, personal best. This one was my personal. It was a big bag. To be honest, I couldn't even calculate it. We went through so many. It was a 100-fish day.
No kidding.
It was a 100-fish day. Yeah.
Damn, that's a day my bass fisherman dreams
once in a
of.
lifetime. Yeah. Epic day. And like I said, I have not duplicated that ever again or come close to it. Went back the next day. Couldn't hardly buy a bite. And
so you got the timing right.
Everything
set up perfectly.
Because we had a system coming through. It was a mild system. It was overcast, mild, a little bit of rain drizzle. The next day there was no rain. So basically it turned in from like a pre-front to post-frontal condition overnight.
Wow. And
that really put a damper on it and shut the bite off.
Okay.
You know, I scrapped out about 2-3 fish the second day, which were nothing to speak of. And this day though, the fish were just up and aggressive and eating, and literally you couldn't do too much wrong. And just like I say, it was timing, true timing.
So show me that bait. This is the actual bait you caught this beast on.
And I'm going to add the story to it too.
Yeah, and I want to hear, break it down, man.
This actual story and what led me, actually, my partner needed to go do his business, and I wasn't going back to the marina, so I said, "You're going to go under that. You're going to go under an oak tree and take care of your business." And he did. I dropped him off on the shore, and he went to go do his business. So I'm out there by myself and pull out and start fishing, and I'm slinging this bait, and I hook up. Knew it was a good bite.
So you're fishing down the bank, going pretty fast, right? Because you're fishing aggressive that day, or
you
kind of slow down because you had to wait for your boy.
I was, and then I slowed down exactly, and I'm working an area here. And I get the bite and I lay into it, and it was just solid fish, and it went off and it came off the bank, and I knew this was big, and it kept going out, and I'm just like following this fish out. And now me and my boat are going out, and I'm just holding on. I brought this fish up and down to the boat about 4 times.
Did she jump?
She never jumped. But she was dogging me and played deep and nosing down the whole time. And just doing that. And I bring her up, I could see her, and she'd go back down. Bring her up, she'd go
So the first time you saw her, what were you thinking, man?
10.
Okay, you're
I'm
like, oh, that's a
thinking,
good one. It's a big one.
It's a 10. You know, I've caught plenty of them. I'm thinking 10 pounds, so I'm like, okay. By then, this fish has me at the back of the boat. I mean, literally, I'm standing back at the motor here, as close as I can to get to the water, as close as I can to get to this fish by myself. And I had the net close by to me at that point, and I worked this fish up and down. It was just, you know how you see the guys fishing tuna?
Oh yeah.
It just micros. I mean, just think about this as a smaller version of that. And this fish would not give up. So I finally get the fish up high enough, pulling back, and get the net under, and pop. And this is what I had.
No.
This
Your
goes,
spinnerbait broke.
rod and this goes like this with the rod tip, and fish is just dropped in the net. It was like, my God. All I remember at that point, I can remember for sure, is that fish's mouth and that fish's head sticking straight out of the net, wanting to launch itself out. Meanwhile, while I'm lifting the net, and this fish is just got his mouth open, wanting to launch out of the net. And I pulled it up just in time before she come up and roll out of the net. And I had this, and all I could do is pull her up and wedge her against the back of the boat and just hold on, and then literally have to just bring her overboard. And at that point, I was just in a state of shock. And, you know, that was a true giant for me. It's a special moment, special time for me that I'll never forget.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and the fact is, I've hooked them. I know I've hooked them as big as this before. I know on cast stake, I've hooked them big, and have literally between rock, you know, on the rocks and rock piles and structure get just railed, get broke off. Yeah.
But it all came together and it worked out this time.
Yeah, it did.
The fish of a lifetime as a result.
It did.
I noticed this is a fiberglass replica. Am I right?
Of course, Roberts.
So you got this fish back in the water.
She's back in the water. She was fine. Kept her for some photos and got her back in the water and put her right back where I caught her.
That's what's up.
And I took a lot of heat from my buddy from not going in the marina or not saying anything about it.
Because I'm pretty sure that'd be the lake record officially.
It's unofficial. It's been unofficial, but that's, you know, that's fine. I'm good with it.
You know what happened that day.
I'm the only.
You lived it.
That's the important part, you know. It's the experience of a lifetime, and that's important to me, you know. You know, this is like, you know, that era, you know, big baits were coming into play, but not extremely strong, but they were coming into play.
My goodness, that is a magnificent animal. It's crazy because Robert did my mount, you know, and I think it's one of the best mounts I've ever seen. Yours is up there, you know, with that same artistic touch that he puts on it. I mean, the realism. So I noticed you actually have like some old school mounts too, right? Like these are probably skin mounts.
Definitely. Yeah.
So these are the actual fish. What year was this?
These are northerns.
Oh wow.
These are northerns, and these were I was getting back like in '87.
Okay, so this is a different time.
Pure strain northern bass.
You know, things have changed obviously, and fiberglass replicas are definitely becoming more the norm. But like back then, it was the deal to hang the actual fish.
Yeah, and actually I felt bad after the fact of finding out how old some of these fish were, because the northern strain is just truly a slow grower, and those are true giants for a pure northern. You know, you catch an 8-pound, 9-pound northern, that's a giant. Yeah. You know, that's like a 15-pound Florida, you know, 17-pound Florida. They're old. These fish are, I believe the biologist told me, like 15 to 17 years old.
Wow.
In fact, when I was fishing back then, in fact, the biologists, they were frequently going to the lakes and spending a lot of time, and you'd be able to talk to them at times, and they give you a lot of input. You know, fisheries biologists. through scale samples, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you'd suggest to the younger generation, if you catch a fish of a lifetime, definitely go with the measurements and fiberglass replica.
Definitely. Keep a scale and keep a tape, a cloth tape, not a plastic tape, but cloth tape on your boat, and do all your dimensions and write everything down. Double check, triple check, and then you can also use your scale as well. But you can back it up, you know, with multiple ways of calculating the fish.
Mm-hmm.
And not knowing what's in the stomach is another thing too when you do calculations. But
Carry a scale.
carry a scale. Yeah, a good quality scale is worth it, definitely. And then you know, catch them, release them, and hopefully you'll get them another day, or somebody else will catch it too and pass it forward. That's the key.
Very important resource.
I've been doing that my whole career, other than as far as, like I say, back in the 80s was a different story. You know, I killed a few, not many, but there's a ton of double digits that I mean, all of them I let them go. You know, you don't see a wall hanging here of giants. You know, those are all gone. Those have been caught and released. So
awesome. Thanks for continuing to contribute to the game, bro.
definitely.
Who's this young fella? Is that your son?
Don't put that in there.